What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, delarose.com, and I am a #1 best-selling comic creator and author, and I've been reading a lot of Brubaker stuff lately. There's a website that just kind of goes over all of Brubaker's noir work, and I just bought all of it because it was awesome after I started reading a bunch of it. And so I never had read any of his Batman stuff, and so I got this as a deluxe edition of Batman, the Man Who Laughs. And what this collects is... what does it collect? It collects Batman Noir, it collects The Man Who Laughs graphic novel, and it collects Detective Comics number 784 through 786. So this is like just Brubaker's random work on Bat titles. There's also a Batman by Brubaker collection, which I put the dust jacket upside down on the book. I do that a lot when I'm reviewing. You can see the inside. There's nothing like super special about it. It's just a little imprinted deal. And we get into the book. All right. So the first story, which is by Doug Mackey, I hope I pronounced that right, art-wise, is just a Joker story. And I don't know if this was one of the original ones like this, but it's that one that you see in Batman stuff where Joker's going to poison the water supply and make everybody into a train wreck. And we see that, and it is a very standard story. If you haven't read a lot of Batman and you haven't read things, this is a great one to start with. This really does nail the Batman-Joker dynamic and all that. But like, I've just seen that story so many times. I just got bored with it because I've read too much of it. Like I said, it's very well done all the way. Like, I love that Brubaker really makes Bruce Wayne and Batman into a detective because it is detective comics. And a lot of the modern stuff you see these days focuses really on the superheroics more than the detective element, and there is a nice like mystery setup for all this that Brubaker does that like he's just a master of the craft. So the concept again is just a little on the generic side and a little on the I've read this too many times side, but the execution of the concept was masterful and perfect. So if that makes sense. The art's very standard comic style, so I have no problem with it whatsoever. It flows nicely. The storytelling's nice on that level. Nothing really stands out where I'm just like, wow, this panel's cool or anything like that. But you don't need that in a comic book. You just need to tell a story, and I thought it worked really well. Now we get into Gotham Noir. This is where it gets interesting. And so this is Batman set in 1949. And Sean Phillips and Ed Brubaker are known together to do noir comic books. They've got their book Criminal and a bunch of other stuff. And so they just took Commissioner Gordon, and he was in this time period, he's a World War II vet who got canceled off the Gotham police force. And so he gets hired by Selina Kyle, who's like a club owner in this, who goes by the Cat. And she's kind of tied in with the mob and all that. And he's meant to protect one of her friends at this like society party. Now this friend is like an ex-hooker and all that. And she's tied in with the mob. And there's a mayoral candidate who's corrupt. And Bruce Wayne seems to be supporting him and all that. And Gordon gets framed for murder and then has to go on the run and solve this deal. In this world, nobody really knows if Batman exists or not, so you see him lurking in the shadows. Is he real? Is he not? Is he just a figment of Bruce Wayne or of Gordon's imagination? You don't know. It's just excellent. The art really dials that in here. I'm very glad I got this book just for this. I mean, this is a really cool story all the way around. This was just beautiful. And again, it just shows how Brubaker and Phillips are just perfect at the noir work here. Eventually, the mystery gets solved, of course. Batman's real, of course, and they take down the bad guys, and it is tied into the corrupt mayoral campaign, which we find out. I highly recommend reading this. This is one of my favorite reads of the year so far. I know we're only in January, but it's good stuff. All right, then we get into Detective Comics for a 3-issue storyline. And the art here is by Patch Zurcher. And he does a beautiful job. This is very detailed, nice art. I really like the colors on this one, too. It's just, it's got like that halfway noir feel. And Batman is like looking for a murderer. And you see Made of Wood. And this ends up being a team up with the original Green Lantern, because the original Green Lantern from the JSA and the Golden Age is his weakness is wood. And so it turns out there was this serial killer in the 40s, and this is such a cool setup. As the Green Lantern shows up, and we get some stuff in the past. So this ties into that 40s noir feel, because the 40s were involved in this. And then it does something modern also with it. And so it makes a nice combo that's just awesome as they investigate this together. And there was a serial killer in the 40s. He ends up, he killed a bunch of people, and he ended up actually defeating the Green Lantern and kind of escaping at the time, because he used a wooden bat and just hit him. And since his weakness is wood, that worked. And as they come together now, like, we find out that, like, his grandson found out what he was doing, and then sort of ended up being a copycat killer himself through the course of this. He ends up kidnapping Commissioner Gordon through this, and there's, like, it's very tense. Like, I would say the stakes are very high through this, and you feel like Gordon actually could be in danger of actually dying, and Batman really swoops in at the last minute and deals with that with the Green Lantern also. So you see a nice character differential between the Green Lantern and Batman, their styles of superheroing, their styles of detective work and all that. Really cool stuff, and excellent story as well. I don't think quite as good as the Batman Noir, but I mean, like, that's a perfect story, so it's kind of hard to match that. But this was a great thing. You get some sketches in the back as extras for the deluxe edition. And gosh, I just always sound like a Brubaker simp on this when I read his stuff. But it is that good. This is 10 out of 10 for me. Excellent must-read stuff. I would definitely recommend The Man Who Laughs for a first-time Batman reader. And for the other stuff, you will enjoy that if you're a long-time comic reader. All right, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.